I came out here this morning and I cut some really nice mahogany up. 7.5 inches long, 1.5 inches square. I went back in the house, had a cup of coffee, and when I came back out here I looked at them and thought, well, what am I going to make out of this? You know, it's like, can't make anything out of that. You ever had those days when everything seems to go inside out on you? Well, if you haven't, you're going to want to stick around and watch this, because today I'll be making an inside out turning. So I'll show you the process on how I do it, and hopefully we get something really nice out of it. So I just get a little bit of glue on the end here. Then I take little pieces of paper that's cut from a paper bag. I just get a little bit more on top of that. I don't want to get it on the wood. That's all we need. This is to keep it from shifting. Lining it up like this. I'll get it nice and tight. And I'll do the same to this one. After the glue had dried on the two halves, then I glued them together with the paper in here. And that sat long enough. I'll put some strapping tape around it. This is what really holds them together. If you just tried to do this without that little paper joint, they'd be slipping around on you and maybe not lined up. Might be an extra step, but it doesn't take long. I go around it twice. I don't really think I need to, but that's what I do. I have it mounted between centers. I've got some marks on here. I want to stay within these marks. Got two different shapes I have in mind to put on there. Got the lathe spinning about 1,000 RPM, and it's just kind of a slow process until you start seeing a shape, and then you have to start adjusting that shape to get what you want. Nothing's going to really happen until I hit this center line here. If you put a shape on here and flipped it around without cutting something away from there, you're not going to have an inside out turning. I'll switch to the spindle gouge. Okay, that's starting to look like something. I know that you want to cut this away. I'm going to take some of that away right now. There's one very important little trick that you can do to keep from ruining this. Is you take whatever thickness these pieces are, which I said they were 1.5 inches, I think that's what it is. When you cut this down here, you don't want that to go below the thickness of one of these blocks. So I can keep going a bit, and you'll end up looking like you're going too deep, but you have to get down there to have a shape. If I stopped right here, we would not have what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some more out of that. while putting the shape on here, and then we'll move on to this side. Alright, we'll see where we're at here. Still got a ways to go. Go back to the bowl gouge and clean this corner up. And I don't know where I'm at right here. Bring that back down to that size. We still have something there. Let's see how much. About a 16. I think we're just about done with that diameter. I just need to clean this up a little bit and get a nice shape on it. I'll go back to my 1/2-inch bowl gouge. A little flatter than I wanted, but I think when I sand that I can fix it. So let's see. Now this, I have to look at my sketch in my head. I just need to hollow that out a little bit. This is different than any I've done, so sort of playing around. But yeah, that's a lot closer. Alright, I gotta go for a while. Probably for the day, the night, and we'll work on it again tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and sand this now, and I'll use sheets of paper, and I think this is 120 grit. Going to sand it like so, up here. Alright, I'll just stop it and do the corners like this if it needs it. It actually came out pretty nice. So we'll get it sanded up to 400. I'll come back and we'll put a finish on the inside area. I'll be putting some shellac sanding sealer on here. Alright, I'll probably get a couple coats of this on here. And I'll come back to the fun part when we take it apart and glue it back together. Okay, time to take it apart. And before doing that, I marked the corners 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you will see why real soon. That's 1 and 2, and it was like this. Now we just reverse 1 and 2. And there we have the shape of our ornament. Not sure which way it's going to go. Do the same thing with this. It goes like this, like so. I go over here like this. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and glue this together here permanently. And we'll glue the halves together like so. The piece sat all night. I've got it back between centers. I'll make it round. I'll put a tenon on this end and put the chuck in and mount it up that way. Then we'll finish turning everything. Got a spindle roughing gouge. We're doing about 1,000 RPM. Switch to my 1/2 inch bowl gouge to put the tenon on. Alright, I'll go ahead and get this flipped around and mount it in the chuck, and I'll be right back. Alright, I think we can go ahead and make this round and kind of start shaping it around the opening here. Got a little cup center here in one of my chucks, which fastens to a ball bearing chuck adapter that's in the tailstock. I'll use that for support while I turn this area here. You can see I got it flipped around now, and I'm using the existing chuck that I started with. And I only used the other chuck because I had this with a tenon already on it and a cup in it, and it was perfect to put on here. Now that I have it flipped around, I can see that I have more stock than what I could see when I was looking the other direction. I feel good about that. So let's go ahead and finish this shape out. We're going to use the 1/2 inch bowl gouge. And we'll turn that RPM up a little bit more, about 900 RPM. If you're not comfortable with doing that, do it like this, because I will also come back and do a little bit of that. So you can't get it quite perfect with all that airspace. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we'll get it all sanded up. I think I can go ahead and cut this off right now. That hot glue should hold it, and I'll finish sanding it up. We'll get a finish on it. I'll let you see some of this. Well, you definitely want to watch this, because everything could just go south on you real quick. That going forward, 900 RPM. That's probably close enough. If that thing starts flopping, I'm not going to have anything left. So I want to leave a slight flat spot up here. That's kind of why I cut it off as well, because I may have an eyelet that goes up into here. Not going to make you watch me sand all this, because there will be a lot of just sanding by hand. But when I come back, we'll get a finish on it and have a good look at it. Well, guess what time it is? It's time to put a finish on it. I'll use Deft lacquer. I'll spray on probably 3 coats, and I'll show you one of them. Big change. If that goes inside, that's alright. I have some shellac sanding sealer in there. Okay, so I'll let that dry and probably get 2 more coats on it, and I'll be back and we'll be all finished. It is all done. My inside out turning made from a very pretty piece of mahogany. It finished a little over 6 inches long. The lower area is 3 inches in diameter, and the upper area is 2.5 inches in diameter. And I used multiple coats of Deft lacquer sprayed on. So I've got it hanging from a piece of fishing line right now, and you can also set it in a little stand. I've got lots of things laying around that you could probably use. This is a emerging bowl that I made from a limb a number of years ago, and I tried it in there, and it sits just fine. I'll show you some of that a little bit later, but because I wanted it to kind of look like a flame, I made it so that I could get these tea lights in here. So this is one that has a little candle shape on it. And then we have these electronic ones, and those are pretty cool because you can run them with a remote control. So I'll get this set up and I'll show you all of that. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and I'll go ahead and get this set up and show you the lights, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like the video, do me a favor, click that like button and feel free to leave a comment. Both of those things will really help my channel grow. I do lots of different types of turnings, and you never know what might be next, so be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. And a special thanks to all my current subscribers. You really mean a lot to me. Till the next time, see you later.